Hello, everybody. I hope that you can hear me. I have had some a little bit of problems, been dropped out here. There was some problem with. Can you hear me now, David? Okay, Klaus. Yeah. Good. Yes, and welcome to this webinar. We are back here again in the webinar series, Digital Logistics. And I'm so happy that having an additional platform to be able to showcase or present to you guys. And I'm very glad that so many of you could join. And as I have said before, we have the chat. So anytime you think, come up with a question or comment, just write it in the chat function. You can use the open questions below, and we will take that all in the Q&A session. So that's I will probably say that more over again, and. I would, as usual, I'm very interested in knowing where you guys are from. I see some familiar names, and I guess I know some of you. But if you could type in which country you're from or city, that would be great to show. Copenhagen, Denmark, yeah, and we have Germany here as well. David, welcome, It is very interesting to know that people give the time to be in a webinar like this. I know there is a lot of webinars, and that's why my idea to bring a webinar like this is to have something that will bring value to you, and something that you can either use straight away or learn better afterwards with connecting with the person who is presenting. And in this case, it is a platform called Flensis with a catchy name, Digital Supply Chain Matchmaking. It's like dating. I did come across Flensis several weeks ago, and I found it very interesting because this is what, in my eyes, it's a community. I see it as a community, and I'm very excited to have Nick from Flensis present the solution that they have and give you some new eyes on digitalization within logistics. I hope the sound is okay. There might be some problem somewhere with the sound. There will be a replay, recording of this webinar that will be sent out, and sometimes the sound can be a little bit not so good in the live presentation, but then in the recording it is okay. So hopefully it will be okay. But enough with this, or just I always forget this, to present myself. My name is David Leifsson. I live in Sweden, in Västerås. It's close to Stockholm. I have been in logistics for about probably 20 years, and I'm a great fan of digitalization within logistics, and all kinds of way of simplifying and giving transparency to the processes and so on. And that's why I'm glad to have this opportunity to have Flensis tell you a little bit more about their platform. And if you have any questions or you want to connect, then you feel free to connect with Nick here, or either on LinkedIn or through me. I can always pass you through. So with that, I will hand over the word to Nick here to have the chance to tell us a little bit more. And yes, once again, if you have questions, just write them down, and then we'll take it up later. Nick, the word is yours.
meet David, and as always, everyone, thank you for joining. It's lovely to see so many of you here. And as David mentioned, if there's any questions that pop up in the meanwhile, then by all means feel very free to post them in the questions booth, and then we'll do our best to answer all the questions that come up, any queries you have about the platform itself, and of course you'll feel very free to follow up with us afterwards. David, could I ask you a favor, and could you move the slides to the middle view?
Sorry, just one thing. Is the sound double? Can you have double sound? Is it only me, or do you hear double sounds? Anyone there?
I think sounds fine by me.
Okay, so hopefully it's just me. I will.
Fantastic. Cheers, David. Well, yeah, just to briefly introduce myself to everyone. I'm the CEO of Flensies.com, and it's my job to find you business partners and win-win opportunities that are alignment with the scope of your business. We're essentially a digital supply chain matchmaker, as David kindly introduced us. And we very much like to catalyze business development in the matter of minutes as opposed to months. But without further ado, we'll keep this short and sweet and explain to you how Flensies works, and briefly run through an agenda here. So we're going to just briefly talk about the company info, how I got involved with David, and exclusive offer we're gonna provide to Supply Chain Management International, how the platform works itself, some examples, and then some Q&A after, should you guys have any questions. So currently, Flensies is in open beta now. However, we've just ticked over 100,000 requests, and we have 1,600 supply chain professionals, verified supply chain professionals within an array of different sectors within the supply chain, really encompassing all sorts of facets of the supply chain, be it your forwarding needs, startups we have aboard the platform, and very specific needs that you have for addressing logistical innovation challenges. Then we can provide the solution for this. We're just above 106 countries now, so we're a truly global platform, which we take great pride in. So if it be some project cargo in Timbuktu to Halifax, California, then we've got partners that can address your problem. So why Flensies? Well, Flensies is a platform that facilitates peer-to-peer collaboration. Basically, we leverage the power of win-win opportunities and reaching out to independent professionals within the supply chain, essentially crowdsourcing solutions at scale and instantaneously to address the need for your challenge or your problem or your opportunity. And just briefly kind of explain a story of myself I experienced is where we at the very start of the pandemic, we're trying to send or help facilitate the order of personal protective equipment masks from China to USA and connecting them with hospitals. So we were identifying air freight agents in Shenzhen and Shanghai, and I sent out 20 emails personally to different air freight agents. And in hindsight, I think I was lucky to get one reply in even if it was in Chinese. So this is what we try to do, is by using matchmaking, we find the correct professionals with the correct expertise within the platform itself to instantaneously send this opportunity to the relevant parties in the supply chain. And one thing we do really hammer down on is trust. So everyone is very stringently verified before they enter the platform, so that everyone you're engaging with is a serious user. Although what we've certainly experienced, handling PPE masks is certainly no shortage of unserious users. But one thing we do as well, we try to facilitate the matchmaking role. So we've removed ourselves from the process as a very neutral platform. So there's no middlemen at Flensies, but we just try to really increase the rapid nature of distributing and receiving opportunities using the matchmaking algorithm. So I'd like to perhaps invite you, David, perhaps why you thought it was interesting to engage with Flensies. Do you think what was what was the reason you find that interesting? Is that perhaps a problem that you've
Yeah,
experienced yourself
what
in
my
terms of
experience,
contacting
and
logistics
probably
agents
like
and
many other
receiving little
is
replies?
that when you're going out to a different market that you have maybe not been involved in, then it's sometimes difficult to find out, to know the price, who to contact. And it's like, you send out a lot of emails, and you hope for the best, and then you get some kind of price, and you have no idea if that's competitive or not. And then often you end with going back to your logistics company that can help you. But my experience with Flensis was like, oh, this is a community that I could build up a place with contacts. And with the request that I did, I got so fast response that I was a little bit skeptical that this was too fast, but it was really great.
Fantastic. Thank you for commenting, David. And as mentioned, stay tuned as well for an exclusive invitation that we'll be sending out to our invite-only beta, shortly after the webinar. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what Flensis is all about. Let's see here. Can you see my screen? There we are. So now we're logging into the platform itself, and here we're presented with our inbox. And as previously mentioned, this is opportunities that we receive. And to be frank, I think everyone can resonate with the fact that opportunities are often expressed in more words than needed. So we really try to hammer down on having instantly kind of relevant opportunities that you can see within 5 seconds whether this is relevant or not. So this could be logistical needs or challenges to your business that you need addressed, identifying different opportunities or agents that you need to cover. So here we see short and simple warehousing needs, and this opportunity, they need to find storage for 500 pallets, 5 months in Barcelona, and these specific areas. And if we say yes, we can help if it's an interesting opportunity to us. And then we can see here that we can see this contact of David, who kindly posted this morning and received some strong responses. And then we can see what he's interested in and engage with him subsequently via over LinkedIn. And this is how we really verify the trusted professionals within Flensis itself. So then we see, what we try to hammer down on as well and really focus on is the quality of responses over the quantity. So this is how we use the matchmaking algorithm in order to find you the 2 or 3 professionals that can provide the solution for your logistical needs, as opposed to 20 or so that will flood your inbox. But just to give you an insight over some of the use cases that you can engage Flensis for. This could be very specific needs that you need to identify some solutions, but it's also a tool to identify the early discovery of innovative solutions. So this can be startups that we frequently experience onboarding the platform, seeking pilot users. And then we experience exclusive deals with the Flensis community in terms of win-win opportunities that are distributed to your inbox. And this could, it's a whole slew of different, and variety of opportunities. But without further ado, I'll show you how you post your own opportunity. So what you can do on Flensis, first and foremost, you can ask a question. Whether it's a very specific thing that you need to address in order to digitalize your logistics, or a specific need within cargo or procurement or warehousing, for example. The eye is really in the potential is really in the eye of the beholder. So you can ask any sort of question, or share an opportunity, or share a challenge. Conversely, if you would like to hold things anonymous, if it's sensitive information or a an opportunity that requires some diligence, then we take that very seriously. So you can post an anonymous question, and we'll share that with our community in a very careful manner. And for example, here as well, you can share a challenge. So this could be, if you want to outsource your logistics to a freight forwarder, to name but a few of the use cases that we can do here. But without further ado, we can share an opportunity. And here we would just, within some short words, we would, for example, say seeking an agent in the Bahamas. Just to provide a quick example. So if you'll excuse my typos here, and then we see, short but sweet, you can identify, some of the people with an answer to your questions aboard the platform. And then we can go here and, tick off the relevant opportunities here, whether it be within ports or otherwise, if it's air freight agent you seek. And then we would go straight down and select the relevant countries that we want to distribute these opportunities to. So it crucially ends up in the right hands or partners that are intrigued in this opportunity. And likewise, we can also distribute to groups of countries as well. And here we can also take advantage of our founder network, which is comprised of 11,000 transport professionals within the supply chain. So if we want a guaranteed reply to this request, then you can be assured, as David indicated, that you will receive a variety of different responses to your request. So you also receive a diverse set of quotations or opportunities, and then you can manually go through and see the most kind of interested or pertinent kind of partners for you to engage with subsequently. Also giving you a fair and variety of quotes and partners to work with. So this would then be verified to ensure that the quality of opportunities is tip top. And I would suggest as well, you can always go aboard Flensies and set and forget it, and automate your opportunity pipeline to receive interesting opportunities that come in via Flensies. But we'd really suggest that, in order to get the most out of the platform itself, then the best way is almost opportunity-based networking through posting your own problems and opportunities and challenges and logistical needs to garner some interest and generate tangible and reciprocating business opportunities. So let's see here. Good stuff. David, could you be so kind to put the slides on the central view again, please?
Yeah, they are now. The slides is in the middle, in the central.
Fantastic. Not quite yet. Can you just make sure the layout is on the middle?
Let me see. Is it better like this?
Fantastic. Very much appreciated. And yeah, so within the matter of minutes, you can receive a reply for your opportunity. So if you're seeking agent in Bahamas, as opposed to manually sending out many emails and waiting for responses, then you can see the different partners aboard the Flensies community that are interested in working with you collaboratively on an opportunity. And then you can go in and see their reputation aboard Flensies and verify that they're an interesting party to work with, and then you find the opportunity within a matter of minutes. And so this is why we call we anecdotally like to compare ourselves to Tinder of the business world, as we drive very quick responses and tangible business opportunities within the matter of minutes, because I think as David may agree, I think we try to reserve this effort of being rejected by many different parties. We should only reserve that effort for dating. So we try to circumvent that by using the matchmaking algorithm to find you very actionable business opportunities, and in a very, catalyze that in a very real-time fashion. So if there's any, questions you guys are, interested in posing to us, how the platform works itself, or, different use cases, then
yeah,
by all means,
it's,
feel very
I had
welcome
I wanted to
ask
tell
some
the people
questions,
in the
and we'll
webinar
certainly
about. I
do our
mean,
best
what
to answer them.
what I'm seeing is like, you have all this kind of contacts around the world. You could have like, contacts in Asia or US or South America and so on. And then you have in Europe, and maybe the best the contacts close to you, but you have some kind of ideas, and you sometimes when I'm thinking, let's say if I wanted to send some shipment to Brazil, then I might have an idea what my preferred contact would be there. But what I'm seeing is like, as Flensis, as a platform, as a community, a way of setting up my possible intra contact network, that I could have like my own small community of my agents or the people that I'm working with. So that is my little bit vision of Flensis, to have like, have your small echo environment in there.
But absolutely, I think it's a problem, a headache that we've all experienced in terms of reaching out, with outside your internal network, and being very frustrated by the sort of response and the quality, as you never know what kind of quote that you're going to get from a local forwarder in Brazil, for example. But in that we have a very wide subset of different professionals within the supply chain, from Brazil to China, in a true global manner, that are very, they're vetted before coming into the platform. And you'll also receive a variety of responses to make sure that you're receiving a fair and mutually beneficial opportunity. So yeah, definitely, as you say, David, it's in terms of having that community sense and that ecosystem, that's something that we're very focused on. And of course, this time again, this networking model.
I can see that there are some questions dropping in.
To identify new partners,
one from
overseas, to address
David
your
here.
logistical needs and find new partners for your business.
You could probably see it here below. It's on the side. Nikolai, do you have a metrics that reflect success on TP? Maybe, Dave, you could write it so we could understand correctly.
So, if you just, David, can you clarify TP as in?
Let me see. Here.
While David is addressing that the clarification, and thank you for your question, David. I'll answer the second question before we loop back to that one. And David is asking if we have metrics that identify successful matches. So yeah, it's an excellent question. We certainly do have metrics that identify successful matches. You can actually receive, you can input on a 5-star rating how relevant this match is to your business. And then actually, but the more you use the platform, the more we use this validate which opportunities are relevant or not, and also using validating community feedback in terms of Flensis users that are most active. Then you can see their reputation once you receive different various replies for your answers, for your questions. Rather.
Okay.
So
yes, actually, I'm thinking of one. Like in my case, when I do this, I post the opportunity and I get a reply back. Is it then? do I do something more within the platform, or is it being moved outside the contracts or the further discussion?
Yeah, that's a good question, David. So we provide the facilitator matchmaking role. So that's what that's our focus, so to speak. So once you gather a relevant match, then your contact details of the mutual interest are exchanged, and you can follow up via email or LinkedIn or email or phone, so to speak. So while we are bringing forward a more internal solution within our roadmap, the current modus is email, which you can never go wrong on, and as well, you can forward these interesting opportunities if you're not immediately capable of addressing
I had
some
one
opportunity.
more.
Then
It's like I know that we talked about that.
the opportunities to someone within
As
your
I
network
have
that
seen,
could
there are
solution.
many different platforms out that you have platforms in transportation, in warehousing, in different kind of things, but they are very much focused on the single thing, and they are just seeing the horse, that they are just seeing like this. Could it be connected, Flensis, in the future to other platforms, so that it could be like a community or like a shopping mall for logistics needs?
Well, I think it's an excellent point on the sort of mentality that some people operate with, in terms of a lot of these opportunities are siloed within platforms themselves. So we quite like the sort of sharing mentality in terms of distributing opportunities on our platform, and we've certainly also dipped our toe already in collaborating with other platforms themselves as they distribute opportunities, as well as startups who are running pilot projects. So Flensis is also a tool for discovery of these early innovations, but then also opportunities from other platforms.
There's a question here, a couple of questions, but one is from
absolutely,
Yusuf.
David, and it's certainly an
what are
ecosystem
the
that we're currently
current
building
and
at the moment.
future challenges that the value proposition of Flensis face or will face?
Well, it's an excellent question, Yusuf, and certainly a very, very thought-provoking one. So I say the current and the future challenges the current challenges right now, I would say, is certainly kind of nudging everyone to post their problems and their challenges aboard the platform, because I think a lot, particularly in times of the pandemic, I think a lot of businesses intuitively they go on defensive and they try to deal with problems internally, such as be it abandoned cargo or difficult kind of logistical need that they're kind of tackling in the day-to-day kind of disruption of a business. I think what we need to realize as well, or we try to nudge people in the direction of, is that these internal problems are actually opportunities for parties interacting with each other, and by outsourcing your logistical problems to another party, that can create a win-win opportunity for both parties and save time and cost, crucially, for both businesses. And in terms of the future challenges, valuable proposition of Flensis will face is certainly as we grow, we'd like to maintain the core principle of trust within the matchmaking itself. So as we receive daily opportunities on the platform, we're verifying each one to make sure that they're a quality opportunity before it roll out, but also crucially that the parties within the platform itself are trusted. So this is actually why we are closing the beta within 2 weeks now, due to demand to keep the quality of the users themselves and the opportunities of the highest degree, in order to keep these relevant opportunities, as opposed to kind of these pitch decks or stand mails that you get
you
in your
answered the
inbox.
next
But
question. When do
crucially,
you
we'll
plan to
have them
close the
as
beta free
actionable and
sign up?
relevant opportunities
You said that
for your business.
that was in a few weeks.
And
yeah.
yes, I apologize for that. I must have inadvertently answered the next question itself. But absolutely, we're currently in beta phase, and in the free sign up phase. So we're just providing off feedback and identifying where we can provide value and where the most relevant and tangible business opportunities are. But we're closing the beta very shortly, due to the spike in the demand, and so we don't open the floodgates to any unserious users, which is in part why I'm so grateful for having you host us today, David, and Supply Chain Management International.
And then we have Hilja is asking what companies are listed. Is there any cost for those companies, cost related? Do you have any comments on that?
Well, currently we're in beta, so we have yet to implement a business model, so to speak. But as an early adopter of Flensies, you'll receive unfettered access to the beta itself, where we're already finding very interesting and tangible opportunities for your business in general. But most importantly, we're considering a equitable and fair gateway into the community itself. This is certainly something we're bringing in mind. And the company's listed, so we operate on an anonymity basis. So you can be assured that your contact details won't be just shared with anyone, but it's only through the relevant matchmaking and confirm mutual interest that you can engage with these companies. But we have lots of different companies in terms of freight forwarding.
It's good. I remember actually
solutions to your logistical challenges.
First thing I wanted to say to people, let's try this out now while you can, because you can try it out, the beta, and since it's in this early stage, and see how it will help you. And there was one comment that I wanted to say, that I remember this was a while ago on LinkedIn. This probably 10 years ago or something like that, at least 7 years ago. Then on LinkedIn there was a lot of possibilities of getting business through opportunities like you're presenting here. It could be, I've done like business on LinkedIn in warehousing, where it's been posted like you needed some warehousing in Sweden or Denmark or somewhere in Europe. However, now all that is disappeared, and you will only get there is a lot of information on LinkedIn, mostly like commercial or advertisement. So what I'm seeing is in this way is kind of a way back to that, because I really like to have those kind of possibilities and to have a chance of solving those. So I'm seeing this as a way to get back to that fun time of getting questions and finding out price for different kinds of solution. So yeah, I'm happy to have the chance to have you here on board.
Yeah, thank you very much again, David, certainly appreciate that. I think this is a good way to find friends and new business partners as well. Networking via opportunities, I think, is an excellent way to engage with business, particularly now as this. We're moving increasingly towards digital solutions, as many conferences and traditional ways of networking are kind of put a little bit on the back burner.
Yeah, and I see that there are some more questions dropping in or comments
for
here
finding new
Anders.
through opportunities
but
themselves.
would like to mention one global alliance of family business are signed up, and two global leaders from maritime different sectors, rail, port, service providers combined with very interesting accelerators for innovation for logistics. Sorry for my pronunciation, but maybe you could, since you know Anders, you could clarify this a little bit better.
Yeah, it'll be my pleasure to elaborate. And I think what Anders is getting at is that the Flensies as a destination has capabilities to address from end to end in supply chain, wherever it may be, in terms of driving innovation at a grassroots level within business to digitalize your logistics. But also we have global leaders from maritime across different sectors, and rail and port and service providers with expertise in smart ports, in ballast water management, to name but a few interesting. So we have a very also a very kind of holistic overview of the supply chain, also in terms of the niche needs and problems. We have professionals that we can leverage to provide insight and expertise within the business itself, as well as a global alliance of family businesses, small to medium enterprises, who can provide more competitive rates than perhaps some of these bigger players, without naming names.
I have another interesting
this is very much
open question from
every single
Dave,
within
David
the supply
Eriksson,
chain.
who's I've talked to, is in Canada, and he's been involved with trade within the Canadian with Canadian companies, as well in military logistics. And his question, one of the biggest challenges that we all have in global trade is assessing trusted partners worldwide. Governments try to support international trade with the trade commission teams in foreign embassies that actively reach out to vendors or customers. Can you comment on how the application could support foreign trade efforts?
Well, I think it's a very excellent question. I think that highlights, a bit of a discrepancy in terms of, private companies and perhaps more public bodies. And I think that there's a kind of, I suppose, a myopia from bureaucratic myopia in terms of these large commission teams who essentially they see things through a lens of trying to. I think there's definitely a gap there that needs to be bridged, and I think that's certainly if you look at customs, if you look at the big problems that have been faced with the current pandemic. I think that large amounts of efficiency have been achieved purely out of necessity. So I think there's a big opportunity there to bridge the gap between SMEs and these larger international bodies to make it more inclusive supply chain. And I think that's integral in order to achieve some of these overarching goals that the supply chain is trying to achieve in terms of SDGs and digitalizing logistics. So absolutely, it's certainly something we're keeping in mind. But at Flensies, we've launched an initiative in terms of accelerating the sustainable development goals through various initiatives. But absolutely, it's one of the biggest challenges that we experience in global trade.
Yeah.
And I think that
then we have a
and
question here
enterprises
from
will play an
Fleming.
integral role in that. So it's very much
What
something we're trying to
platform is
facilitate here at Flensies as well.
Flensies built on? Is it a Trustly cloud-based or other? I mean, could you comment on that?
Absolutely. So the good thing about Flensies is you won't have to download any apps or whatnot. Within the process of 10 minutes, you can sign up to sectors that you're interested in, and essentially you can set it and forget it and receive interesting and tangible opportunities to your business. So it's based off a cloud-based solution. So you don't have to worry about I won't bore you with the technicals, but you don't have to worry about downloading some bloated software or anything. It's an in-browser platform, which you can engage very and sign up very quickly.
I think we have had a really good discussion here and really good.
Thank you for that question.
Questions from the audience to ask. It's always good to have questions, because questions will they are showing interest. And what I wanted to say to all of you guys here is reach out and or take the chance to, when you get the email with possibility of signing up to the beta and see how it works in real life, because I think this is one platform that is will help in digitalization of logistics and help get the world a little bit smaller. So I encourage you all to take this chance. And also I thank you all for being here, and thank you, Nick, for presenting Flensies and answering all those questions.
Thank you very much, David. It was a pleasure. And by all means, if everyone else has any additional questions, then by all means, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll also provide a link that David will provide via email. You can book a time if you to answer any additional questions that you may have. I'll be happy to give you a personal walkthrough of Flensies, and where we can also see some viable, interesting opportunities on your side as well. So thank you very much for hosting me, David, and thank you everyone for joining. It was a pleasure, and I hope you have a lovely afternoon.
Yeah, and I just want to, before we go, I will probably have one last webinar, a little bit of a roundup for everything, and then the summer holiday will begin, and my plan is to start up again in August to bring further introduction of digitalization within logistics, and hope to see you all there. And with that words, I say have a nice day, and hopefully we will meet again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.